What is good, everyone? I hope you're doing amazing. Today, I'm Charlie from Conscious Creation, and in this video, I would like to share with you how to raise your vibration and why you want to go along and even raise your vibration in the first place. What is your vibration? Your vibration is your most consistent state of being. So if you are feeling good, you are in a high vibration.
It's good. It's good.
If you are feeling bad, you are in a low vibration. But I'm also going to explain why being in this low vibration is not a bad thing. I'm going to talk about a chap called David Hawkins who wrote the book called Power versus Force. It's a very well-known book. And in this book, he explains the scale of consciousness. And in this scale of consciousness, it talks about the types of realities that we attract in our life due to our state of being. So over here, I put the scale of consciousness, and as you can see, there are different emotional states to different levels of consciousness. You've got the lower ones, such as fear, apathy, shame, guilt. Then you've got anger, pride. Then you've got willingness, courage. Then the higher ones of acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. And I'm going to share with you the type of reality that you will experience in these different states of consciousness. So in the lower states, when you experience fear, shame, apathy, guilt as your main state of being, you are feeling this more often than not. You are going to experience a reality that is dense and that is heavy for you. It's going to feel as if you're trying to walk through mud with really heavy boots on. And it's really difficult. And often people who reside in this state of being for too long can get depressed. If you manage to shift this state of being to a slightly higher one, that of pride and anger, is still a lower state of consciousness, but it's higher than those lower ones. And when you're in this state, is you start to take action towards things. You start to build momentum towards creating the reality that you want. But still in this state, it can be very difficult because most of the action that you are taking is simply to solve the issues that you are attracting. And you often see people who have been depressed for a very long time. As they come out of that depression and they're like, they're a bit pissed off to the things that have happened to them. And they say, I'm going to take this massive action now. I'm going to fix my life and I'm going to do all of these things. But in that state of anger and in that state of pride, you are attracting negative situations for you. So it's going to feel like there's so many obstacles that are coming into your life. And yes, you can create your reality, but it's much more of a struggle. If you manage to shift to a slightly higher state of consciousness, which is that of willingness and courage, you get into a state of happy productivity. And this is when things start to happen for you. It feels like life is starting to work in your favor and that it's worth living. And things are much more enjoyable. If you manage to shift to even the higher states, that of the love, the joy, the peace, the enlightenment, is you're in that of a flow state. In other words, you become a magnet to the things that you want in your life and you attract all of these amazing opportunities towards you. And the action you take is so effective because the opportunities are set up in such an amazing way, simply because of the energy that you are putting out. Often we see people when they want to create the reality, they're always focusing on the things they want. I desire this, I desire that. And while that is great, focusing on the things that you want, the thing is, we as human beings have enough desire to fill many, many lifetimes. And the thing is we get to a point where we don't need to focus too much on the desire because that has been planted. The universe receives that signal and it understands what you want. But we need to raise our vibration. And as you raise your vibration, it gives all of these desires an opportunity to start coming into your life. And that's why raising your vibration can be so powerful. We've been conditioned to believe that we have to struggle for the things that we want. And yes, you can create reality in this way. But if you want to do it in a different way, the key is raising your vibration and raising your consciousness. And when it comes to raising our vibration and getting into these higher states of consciousness, it's really important to realize that it's not that this ladder that we're trying to climb. Often it's a social conditioning to think we have to climb to the top. I need to reach this sense of enlightenment. You as a spiritual being, you are naturally a high vibrational being. That love, that peace, that joy, that is who you are naturally. So it's not something that you need to attain. What we need to do is we need to learn how to let go of these lower emotional states, and we will naturally start to rise up and we will start to feel much better. It's a bit like a rubber duck. If you have a rubber duck and you pull it below the water, is you have to work to keep that rubber duck under the water. You then learn to let it go and it raises to the top, and that's its natural state, right? In the same way, we need to learn to let go of these lower emotional states. So what keeps us in these lower emotional states is the identification with these emotions. When we feel the anger, when we feel the guilt, when we feel the shame, when we feel the apathy, we need to realize that these are just experiences that we are having, and it's not who we are. When we identify with this stuff, we say, I'm an angry person, I'm a jealous person. This is just simply who I am. And usually people say it's because of this event or because of that person. And the reason for this is because when we experience a traumatic event, something that gives us this strong chemical response in our body that creates the chemistry of guilt or shame, is we remember it. And our mind goes over it in a lot of detail, and we go over that event. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That was a really stupid thing to do. I really regret doing that. What if I had not have done that? And we go over it again and again and again. And because we go over it again and again, because it's a survival mechanism, this is why we always focus on our problems, is because you're releasing that chemistry, because your brain doesn't know the difference between an actual event and a simple memory that you are firing, is we become very familiar with those emotions. So if you have an event that triggers that anger and you keep going through it in your mind, you are going to feel a lot of anger a lot of the time. And because you are identifying with it, it starts to become the lens in which you see the world. And you end up saying, I am an angry person. And what we tend to do is we take that past event and we project it into the future in order to protect ourselves. But when it comes to creating the reality that we desire, the reality that we want to attract in our lives, is we need to release much of this stuff. Because think about it. If you were living your dream reality, would you be feeling all of that anger? Would you be feeling that impatience? No, you wouldn't. So in order to become a vibrational match to that reality, we need to learn to let this stuff go, and then we are going to raise our vibration. This is why things like shadow work is so powerful. And the analogy that I'm going to use for this is like a bow and arrow. So let's say you set the intention to the universe. Is you say to the universe, I want to experience that great relationship. I want to experience a reality where I have that amazing career. I want to experience this reality where I am wealthy. So the universe always says yes. It gets your message, it gets your signal. However, it will set about a process of events that are designed to help you release all of that stuff that isn't a vibrational match to that reality. And it's going to trigger it to the surface. So the analogy that I'm going to use is like a bow and arrow. Let's say we got a bow and arrow. Okay, we have set that intention. And what we need to do is we need to pull that arrow back. And the further we pull back the arrow, the more we go within and release the stuff, the more we are going to shoot forward into the reality that we want to experience. So let's say when you do this, when you set that intention, is you need to get ready to feel all of the stuff that you may have experienced in the past. Maybe you were bullied. Maybe you were fired from your job and it was embarrassing to tell your family. Maybe you experienced a heartbreak and you haven't accepted those emotions. You didn't allow them to just be there as an experience. You identified with them. Therefore, they stayed in your body. So when you spend some time by yourself or in a meditative state, or you set that intention to the universe, I want to experience this type of reality, this stuff is going to start to bubble up to the surface. All of that stuff is keeping you in a lower vibration. And what we need to do is we need to feel it, acknowledge it, and accept it by remembering it's just an experience and it's not who we are. If we stay in our mind, you'll always notice when an emotion rises to the surface, you will start telling a story in your mind. It was their fault. They made me this way. How could I have been in the wrong? And this is, what are we doing? We are identifying with the emotion. So we need to get more into our body and we need to feel it and we need to release it. Now, you may have built a lot of anger within your body. Maybe you've built a lot of guilt and you're not going to do it all in one go. So it's a bit like a shovel. You get a shovel and you dig this stuff out bit by bit. And through that process, we are pulling the arrow back, and then suddenly you shoot forward, and things in your reality can change very, very quickly when you do this. Of course, there are more simple ways in which we can raise our vibration. Surrounding yourself with people that you want to be around, eating good food, listening to good music, meditating, being in nature, doing things that feel good for you right now is a really powerful way to raise your vibration. So if you feel like doing something, whether it's going for a walk, listening to a certain song, maybe you want to go on an adventure, maybe you want to go to the beach. If you have that intuitive impulse to go and do something, go and do it, because it will help you raise your vibration. So I hope this information has helped you. Thank you for watching. Peace, much love, and take care.